YouTube, welcome back to Wtf Rc Cars. So we're going to do a few running videos today, if I can. We've got some freshly charged 8000 milliamp hour 2S Zeee pack and a 3S Zeee pack, and we've got this fgr4p GSM 020 GPS speed logger, data logger. I just stick this into the RCs with Velcro, and you don't need to be able to get to this to turn it on and off. As soon as you activate the app and you've got Bluetooth on your phone, it powers up itself. Found this as good a place as any to attach it. There's plenty of space under the cage when we close it down. So we'll get the body clips in and get this out and see what sort of performance we get. Now I'm going to be running this on probably quite long grass on the field that we've got close to home. So let's get it out and see what we get. Right, so I set this up with the vehicle stood still. You open the app. If you try and initiate it by selecting track and start when it's got no GPS lock, you'll just get that error. So you have the vehicle sat still, you'll wait for it to pick a few satellites up. Once it's got that picked up, you can then just hit the start button, and then it'll start recording and logging the fastest GPS speed. So we get it a few runs up and down field. Bearing in mind this is on a grassy field, if you're on tarmac it'll go quicker. This is on 2S, so we're getting it running both directions. Drove it upfield and then straight back down the field. Give it a fair chance. And then when you bring the vehicle back to you, you then make sure your Bluetooth's connected, press stop, press read, and then it'll read your maximum speed. So there you have it, 2S on grass, 22 miles an hour. Right, so I thought I'd have a bit of fun running this 2S battery out. Had a good drive around with it, and this vehicle is just a hell of a lot of fun. 2S is easily enough to lift front wheels, but we've got the LVC I think set as stock, so that's 3 volt per cell I think on the Spectrum ESC. And seems though we got the voltage and temp sensors on, I thought I'll give it a bit of non-stop bashing and see what sort of temps we get out of the motor. And I've also got the LiPo alarm set at 3.3 volt per cell, so the alarm should kick in before LVC does. But yeah, so we've got that all set up, and I'll just pop a clip into shot so you can see what we're seeing on the actual controller. What you'll notice is the voltage will go red and you get a LiPo alarm actually going off as soon as it hits LVC, and the temperature barely reached 40 degrees, about 38, 39. Right, so let's try it on 3S. Again, I did this with the vehicle stationary. I've just put the clip in so you can see what I'm doing. So you start it recording, you set it going, and again we went downfield and back up it, just to give it a fair chance. It is a pretty flat field with it being a football pitch. But I don't think they've cut grass for quite a while. So again, on tarmac you're going to be going quicker than this. 3S, you can definitely tell it's got some bit more poke, definitely a lot more lively. So starting out, I'd try it on 2S, especially for younger drivers, or inexperienced drivers should I say. But yeah, we brought it back, and again you just click stop on the app and it'll read your speed, and this time 34 miles an hour. Quite impressive for a monster truck. So again, running on 3S, it's a hell of a lot of fun. Really easy to get it up on 2 wheels on side on 3S. Again, I think you probably, to get a little bit more control over it, worth tightening the servo saver up slightly, but you don't want to overdo it because then you're going to risk breaking the servo. Stock servo seems more than ample for it. No need to upgrade that. What we decided to do is have a look and see what temperatures it were getting on 3S, because I were expecting it to be slightly hotter. So we'll just pop that up on screen. and after a good amount of time on this 3S, I'm still only reaching about 55, 56 degrees, maybe slightly more. So yeah, definitely with gearing of this car, with it not being geared for speed, you're not going to run into temperature problems. Not the hottest of days, but I still can't imagine it running a great deal hotter than it does, or than it did today. So yeah, all in all, I think this is an absolute fantastic car. Definitely quite a bit more power on 3S. It's definitely noticeable. So I thought, just for a laugh, we'd see what it's like at Crawley, because I've done this climb, which is quite steep, with my TRX4, and surprisingly enough, it does get up it quite easy. Can't quite make this bit, but you can see just how steep it is, but the TRX4 can't either. So I just decided we'll go the same way as we did with TRX. And seems though it's an RC car, you can't really get away without doing a few donuts on it, can you, when you've got a gravel path? But really precise handling on it. Really impressed with this. For an RTR, it really is good. So, conclusion time. Neither the 2S or 3S got anything than barely warm. So the Zeee batteries are definitely a good match for the LMT. It's definitely, as stock, it is fast enough for its handling. You can have a lot of fun. The MB4 works with it fantastically. And I'm quite impressed with the little GPS speed reader. And they are really nice, these, because they're self-powered. Don't have to mess about any wires to them or anything, and you don't have to switch them on or off. Do it from the app. Handling wise, the LMT, I think they've absolutely nailed it. I mean, I've not touched the preload, I've not touched the diff oils, anything. I've just run it as it comes, and it is a hell of a lot of fun. It's impressive on 2S, on 3S it's an absolute animal. So I've flipped it over a few times, but other than muck, not really any damage to it. It were a bit long grass, slightly muddy, but it's not absolutely covered itself, which is also a bit of a bonus. There's not really any mud, muck or anything gets inside it. But yeah, for an RTR vehicle, and I know I said this in my other video, I mean, I've literally swapped the radio gear out just because I've got the phone holder and everything on the MB4, and I prefer using MB4 in all my cars. Motor temp wise, because it's geared, so it's geared quite low, so you've not got a crazy high speed. I think it barely got over 50 degrees. I don't think it quite hit 60 degrees, even on 3S, doing runs up and down field. That's on grass, so I don't think you'd ever have a problem 2 or 3S with the motor overheating or anything. No issues with the stock servo, is ample powerful enough. I think if you tighten the stock steering servo up slightly, I think that'd give you a bit more control when you're trying to drive on 2 wheels, because there were a couple of times where it just snagged wheel and pulled it back down. And I think if you tighten that servo saver up a little bit, you could probably hold it on 2 wheels for a crazy amount of time. The speed controller, nice and controllable. All the settings on the speed controller are also stock in this video. So I think it's 3 volt per cell LVC. I think the brake force is about 75% if I'm correct on stock, and that seems about perfect for it. If you really slam on brakes, there's enough to roll it forward over on itself. But if you're not mega ham-fisted with the brake, there's plenty enough brake there, and you have got enough control over it. Like I said, stock radio gear, absolutely fine, but I just prefer the Flysky MB4. But Thanks again for watching Wtf Rc Cars. If you like and subscribe. Don't forget to hit the notification bell. And I'll catch you guys again in the next one.